When you think of ice cream, you probably picture a simple, innocent treat from your childhood. But as a physician who has worked with older adults for decades, I know that even one scoop can hide more than just sweetness. For seniors, that familiar comfort food can quietly bring on real health risks. Many popular ice creams are packed with hidden sugars, sodium, and unhealthy fats. Some have even been flagged for bacterial contamination, like Listeria, which can survive in freezing temperatures. These aren't just small details. For someone managing conditions like high blood pressure or diabetes, what seems like a harmless dessert can lead to serious complications. In today's video, we'll uncover 10 ice cream brands you should think twice about. The goal isn't to scare you, but to empower you to make smarter, safer choices. And don't worry, we'll also share 2 fantastic brands that are both delicious and safe, so you can still enjoy a sweet treat without any regrets. Stay tuned. Are you a fan of ice cream? Many of us are, especially as a little treat to end the day. But what if I told you that some of the most popular ice creams, even the ones that look healthy or fancy, could be silently harming your health? As a physician, I've seen this happen far too often, particularly with my older patients. Today, we're going to uncover 10 critical mistakes people make when choosing ice cream, and I'll show you how to enjoy this classic dessert without risking your well-being. Let's start with the first mistake, falling for the premium trap. When you see a brand like Häagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's, you probably think of quality, purity, and real ingredients. Their packaging is elegant, their flavor names sound luxurious like Madagascar Vanilla or Sea Salt Caramel. But premium is a marketing word, not a medical one. If you flip that tub around and look at the nutrition label, the picture isn't so pretty. A single half-cup serving, which is way less than most of us actually eat, can pack anywhere from 22 to 40 grams of sugar. That's like eating 5 to 10 teaspoons of pure sugar in just a few spoonfuls. And it's not just the sugar. Many of these premium ice creams hide a surprising amount of sodium, sometimes up to 120 milligrams, disguised by all that sweetness. When you combine that with saturated fats and a list of stabilizers like gargum or carrageenan, you're giving your body a huge metabolic challenge. For a younger person, this might just mean a sugar rush, followed by a crash. But for seniors, especially those managing blood pressure or diabetes, this combination can be genuinely dangerous. The high sugar spikes your glucose levels, making your pancreas work overtime and potentially causing dizziness or even faintness. The sodium and fats can lead to water retention, increasing blood pressure and straining your heart and kidneys. The stabilizers can irritate your digestive system and even interfere with how your body absorbs critical medications. I had a patient, a lovely retired teacher in her 70s, who treated herself to what she called just a few scoops of a premium vanilla ice cream every night. She thought it was a harmless indulgence, but over a few months, her blood sugar numbers started creeping up. Her ankles began to swell, and she felt tired all the time. She couldn't figure out why. It wasn't until we examined her dessert habit that we found the culprit. The quality brand she trusted was quietly sabotaging the medications her doctor had prescribed. So please, don't let shiny packaging or fancy claims fool you. The word premium refers to a high price tag, not high quality health. Now, for the second big mistake, believing that low-fat ice cream is a healthier choice. For decades, we've been told that fat is the enemy. I've had so many patients proudly tell me, "Don't worry, doc, I only eat the low-fat ice cream." But here's the secret the food industry doesn't want you to know. When they take the fat out, they have to put something else in to make it taste good. And that something is usually a ton of extra sugar, artificial thickeners, and a cocktail of chemicals. Most low-fat ice creams are not healthier. They're just chemically re-engineered to mimic the real thing. Take a look at the label of a typical low-fat or light ice cream. You'll often find it has 20 to 25 grams of sugar per serving, sometimes even more than the full-fat version. They use things like corn syrup solids, dextrose, and maltodextrin, all of which send your blood sugar on a wild roller coaster ride, spiking it quickly and then causing it to crash an hour later. And the fats that are left in there, often hydrogenated or highly processed oils, which can actually raise your bad cholesterol and cause inflammation in your arteries. It's not heart healthy. It's a metabolic trap disguised as a smart choice. I remember a gentleman in his late 60s who switched to light vanilla ice cream after his doctor warned him about his cholesterol. He thought he was doing the right thing, but at his 3-month checkup, his fasting glucose had jumped 30 points, and his triglycerides were higher than ever. Why? Because he had unknowingly traded natural fat for a load of sugar and chemicals. For older adults, this is a terrible trade. The high sugar can disrupt blood sugar control, worsen high blood pressure by causing water retention, and add strain to kidneys that are already working hard. And let's not forget the texture. To make it creamy without fat, companies use gums and stabilizers like carrageenan and cellulose gel. These can cause bloating and indigestion, and may even alter how your body absorbs essential medications for blood pressure or your thyroid. The message here is simple. Low fat does not mean low risk. This brings us to our third and possibly most shocking mistake: ignoring the risk of contamination. We think of our freezers as safe havens, where germs can't survive. But that's not entirely true. Even frozen desserts can harbor dangerous bacteria and mold. Over the last decade, several major ice cream brands, including big names like Bluebell and Friendly's, have had to recall products due to contamination with Listeria. This isn't just a minor issue. In one outbreak linked to ice cream, the CDC reported serious hospitalizations and even deaths, primarily among older adults with weaker immune systems. You might be wondering how bacteria can survive in a freezing cold environment. Well, Listeria is a particularly nasty bug because it actually thrives in the cold. It doesn't die in your freezer. It just goes dormant, waiting. The moment you scoop out that ice cream and it starts to warm up, the bacteria can reactivate, ready to cause problems. For a healthy young person, a Listeria infection might just lead to an upset stomach. But for a senior, it can be life-threatening, causing fever, confusion, and severe infections. If you're already managing a chronic condition, your immune system is compromised, making you far more vulnerable. And it's not just bacteria. Mold can also be a hidden enemy, often forming when ice cream melts a little and is then refrozen during transport or in the store. You might not see it or taste it, but it can cause gas, nausea, and allergic reactions within hours. So, how can you enjoy ice cream safely? First, forget the premium and low-fat marketing gimmicks. If you're going to have ice cream, choose a simple, full-fat option with a short ingredient list: cream, milk, sugar, and a natural flavor like vanilla or cocoa. The fewer ingredients, the better. Your body knows how to process real food. Better yet, consider making your own. A simple blend of frozen bananas can create an amazing, creamy, nice cream with no added sugar. Or try a high-protein frozen Greek yogurt. For safety, always check for recent food recalls on the FDA or CDC websites. And a crucial tip: if your ice cream ever melts, throw it out. Do not refreeze it. True indulgence shouldn't come at the cost of your health. Choosing wisely means you can still enjoy a delicious, creamy treat without the worry. Thank you for watching. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. Ever noticed how the nutrition label on ice cream feels like it's telling a little white lie? Let's talk about mistake number 4, the allergen trap. What's dangerous about modern ice cream isn't what you see, it's what you don't. Hidden allergens are a top cause of food-related hospital visits for seniors, and they're way more common in ice cream than you'd guess. Big brands like Turkey Hill, Häagen-Dazs, and Bluebell have all had recalls for undeclared ingredients like nuts, soy, or dairy proteins that were left off the label. For an older adult, even a spoonful can trigger serious reactions: hives, swelling, digestive pain, or even life-threatening anaphylactic shock. The scariest part is that it's often accidental. The same machinery used for peanut butter ice cream might be used for vanilla right after. Even a tiny trace of residue can be enough. I once treated a woman in her 70s who thought she was eating safe vanilla. She ended up in the ER with shortness of breath, because the product had undeclared soy lecithin, a common stabilizer. It wasn't on the label, but it was in her scoop. This is especially concerning for seniors taking medications for heart conditions, diabetes, or blood thinners. These drugs can amplify allergic reactions, turning a mild rash into a serious health emergency. And watch out for ice creams labeled non-dairy. Many still contain milk derivatives like casein or whey. The takeaway here: always check the allergen warnings at the bottom of the label. Stick to brands with short, transparent ingredient lists. And if you have sensitivities, steer clear of those factory-made combo flavors. When in doubt, make your own frozen treat with Greek yogurt, honey, and fruit. You'll know exactly what's inside. Now, for mistake number 5, the sodium trap. When you think of ice cream, you think sugar, right? Not salt. But here's a secret that shocks many of my patients. Some ice cream brands pack as much sodium as a small bag of chips. For older adults managing blood pressure or kidney issues, that is a huge deal. Companies use sodium not just for flavor, but as a preservative and texture enhancer. It helps keep it creamy and extends shelf life. But that convenience has a price. A half cup of certain brands can have 150 to 200 milligrams of sodium. And let's be honest, who sticks to just half a cup? Double your portion, and you're getting close to half your daily sodium limit before dinner even starts. Why is this a problem? For seniors, excess sodium causes fluid retention, which raises blood pressure and forces the heart and kidneys to work overtime. This can lead to swollen legs, shortness of breath, or even hospitalization for heart failure. I've seen patients who carefully avoided salty snacks, only to sabotage their health with their nightly bowl of innocent vanilla ice cream. And it gets worse. Salt and sugar together create a craving loop in your brain. The more you eat, the more you want. It's food engineering designed to keep you scooping. One study found that combining high salt and sugar increased blood pressure spikes by up to 20% in older adults compared to just sugar alone. It's a double whammy. Sugar stresses your pancreas, while sodium stresses your arteries. So, what can you do? Look for ice creams with less than 80 milligrams of sodium per serving. And be wary of light or slow-churned versions. They often add more sodium to make up for less fat. Always read the label. Your heart depends on it. Let's move on to mistake number 6. The natural flavor illusion. When you see natural flavor on a label, you probably feel relieved. It sounds healthy, right? Well, that phrase is one of the biggest loopholes in the food industry. Natural flavor doesn't mean the ingredient came straight from a vanilla bean or a strawberry. The FDA allows companies to use chemical compounds that are derived from natural sources, but then heavily processed in a lab. We're talking solvents, preservatives, and artificial stabilizers, all hiding behind one friendly-sounding term. For ice cream companies, it's marketing gold. They can create complex flavors that imitate caramel or fruit without listing every single chemical they used. The problem is, you don't really know what you're eating. Many of my older patients complain about feeling bloated, dizzy, or nauseous after eating certain natural ice creams. Often, the culprit is onto dairy or sugarate. The flavoring solvents that irritate their digestion or interact with their medications. Even worse, these flavors can contain trace preservatives linked to headaches and inflammation. While the FDA says they're generally recognized as safe, that doesn't mean they're harmless, especially for seniors with chronic health issues. In Europe, the labeling laws are much stricter, but in the US, it's a gray zone that benefits the manufacturers, not you. The solution: choose brands that list real ingredients like vanilla extract or cocoa powder. Avoid vague descriptions. If a label is hiding behind the word natural, there's often nothing natural about it. Mistake number 7. The portion deception. You've seen it on the carton. Serving size, 1/2 cup. It sounds so small, so reasonable. But here's the thing. Nobody actually eats that little. Half a cup is about 4 small spoonfuls. It barely covers the bottom of a bowl. Yet, every single number on that nutrition label, the calories, the sugar, the fat is based on that tiny portion. Most of us, especially if we're eating from a big bowl or straight from the carton, eat 2 or 3 times that amount without a second thought. So, what looks like 150 calories and 20 grams of sugar quickly becomes 400 calories and 50 grams of sugar in reality. That's like drinking a can and a half of soda. For an older adult managing diabetes or high blood pressure, this can completely derail your health goals. I had a patient in his late 60s who proudly told me he only ate a few spoonfuls each night. When we actually measured it, his few spoonfuls was a cup and a half, 3 times the serving size. That light dessert was adding almost 100 grams of sugar to his weekly diet. Food companies know this psychological trick. Small serving sizes make their products look healthier. Only 8 grams of sugar per serving. Sounds great until you realize you just ate 3 servings. So here's what you do. Use a measuring cup just once. It will shock you how small half a cup really is. Multiply the numbers on the label by how much you actually eat, and treat ice cream as an occasional indulgence, not a nightly ritual. Because the sweetest lies are often printed right on the label. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on living well. Have you ever grabbed a tub of light or sugar-free ice cream, thinking you're making a healthy choice? Let's look at the remaining errors. Walk down any freezer aisle, and you'll see words that sound so reassuring. Light, no sugar added, low fat. They promise a guilt-free treat, but the truth is, these labels often hide a chemical cocktail. When a company removes fat or sugar, they have to replace it with something. In light ice creams, that usually means a mix of artificial thickeners, stabilizers, and sodium-based emulsifiers to mimic that creamy texture. While they might improve the mouthfeel, they also jack up the sodium content and can wreak havoc on your digestion, especially if you have a sensitive stomach or kidney issues. And sugar-free versions, they're not much better. They often rely on artificial sweeteners like sucralose or aspartame. While these won't spike your blood sugar directly, they can confuse your metabolism and have been linked to headaches, dizziness, and even irregular heart rhythms in some studies. I had one patient who switched to no sugar added ice cream for his diabetes. Within weeks, his digestion was a mess and his blood sugar readings were all over the place. The culprit wasn't sugar, it was the chemical substitutes meant to replace it. So, what should you do? Keep it simple. Choose ice cream with a short ingredient list. Real milk, cream, and sugar. If you need less sugar, just have a smaller portion or try making your own with frozen fruit and yogurt. Remember, healthy eating isn't about the marketing on the label, it's about what's actually inside the scoop. Now, let's talk about something most of us never think about, your freezer. Did you know it could turn that tub of ice cream into a bacterial playground? We all assume that as long as ice cream stays frozen, it's safe forever. But that's a dangerous myth. Every time you take ice cream out, let it soften on the counter, and then refreeze it. You're creating tiny pockets of melted liquid. Those little pools become breeding grounds for bacteria like Listeria, mold, and yeast, which can survive and even multiply at freezing temperatures. I've seen people who are so careful with their diet end up with digestive problems, fatigue, or a low-grade fever that seems to come out of nowhere. Sometimes, the cause is traced back to ice cream that's been thawed and refrozen multiple times, especially after a long trip from the grocery store or a brief power outage. It's not just bacteria either. This cycle of thawing and freezing also causes the fats to oxidize, creating that nasty freezer burn taste and releasing compounds that can irritate your stomach. Here's a simple rule. If you open a tub and see a layer of icy crystals or notice a sour smell, throw it away. Don't just scrape off the top. The contamination goes deeper. To keep your ice cream safe, make sure your freezer is below 0 degrees Fahrenheit or -18 Celsius. Always close the lid tightly and never, ever refreeze melted ice cream. Freezing only slows bacteria down. It doesn't kill it. For anyone with a weaker immune system, that one harmless scoop could pose a very real health risk. Finally, let's unwrap the nostalgia trap. The words old-fashioned ice cream just feel comforting, don't they? They bring back memories of hot summers and simple pleasures. But here's a hard truth. Most of today's old-fashioned brands have very little in common with the real deal. Back in the day, ice cream was made with just a few simple ingredients: milk, cream, sugar, and maybe some vanilla. That's it. Today, those tubs labeled homemade or classic are often packed with dozens of additives like gums, emulsifiers, and artificial colors to cut costs. They use nostalgia in their packaging, not in their ingredients. Many of these brands even use cheap vegetable oils instead of real cream. The result is a product that feels creamy, but can contain trans fats that raise bad cholesterol and increase inflammation. I remember a patient, a retired teacher, who ate a scoop of old-fashioned vanilla every night. She thought it was a harmless comfort. But when we looked at the label together, it listed hydrogenated oils and corn syrup solids, not a drop of real cream. She was shocked to realize her nostalgic treat had been quietly impacting her health for years. Food companies sell emotion, not authenticity. The past tasted better because it was simpler. If you want that real old-fashioned experience, try making your own at home, or look for small local creameries that still do it the traditional way. Your health is worth more than a marketing slogan. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you love ice cream but worry about all the sugar, salt, and weird additives packed into most brands, you're in the right place. Today, I'm cutting through the clutter to reveal the 2 ice creams that are actually worth eating. These brands prove you don't have to sacrifice flavor for your health. even if you're managing conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure. First up is Talenti Gelato. If you're after that classic, incredibly creamy texture without the health risks, this is your go-to. What I love about Talenti is its commitment to real, simple ingredients. When you look at the label, you'll see things like milk, cream, and natural flavorings, not a long list of chemicals you can't even pronounce. Let's talk numbers. Each serving has about 12 to 16 grams of sugar. Now, compare that to the 20 to 25 grams you'll find in most big-name ice cream brands. That's a huge difference. Even better, it contains only about 40 milligrams of sodium per serving. This makes it a much safer choice for anyone watching their blood pressure or worried about kidney strain. I've actually recommended Talenti to clients with diabetes who thought they had to give up dessert forever. They were thrilled not only by the amazing taste but also by how well their blood sugar stayed in check when they enjoyed it in moderation. It's pure, balanced, and honest indulgence. Next, we have a fantastic option for anyone who can't handle dairy. So delicious. This brand is a true blessing for those with lactose intolerance or heart health concerns. It's made from plant-based milks like coconut, almond, or oat, so it completely skips the dairy while still delivering that rich, satisfyingly creamy feel. What really makes So Delicious stand out is what it doesn't have. There are no preservatives, no artificial additives, and no hidden allergens. Finding a dessert this clean is incredibly rare these days. With around 12 grams of sugar and just 35 milligrams of sodium per serving, it's a smart and safe choice. Many of my older clients who had given up on ice cream have rediscovered their love for it with this brand. It's lighter on the stomach, easier to digest, and won't cause the bloating or heartburn that traditional dairy desserts sometimes can. At the end of the day, enjoying a treat shouldn't be about feeling guilty. It's about making smart choices. Talenti and So Delicious show us that when food is made with real integrity, your health and your happiness can definitely share the same spoon. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up after looking at that list of ice creams to avoid. I know it might feel a little overwhelming, especially if a nice scoop of ice cream has always been one of your simple joys in life. But here's the good news. You don't have to give it up completely. You just have to learn how to choose smarter. As a physician who has spent decades working with older adults, I've seen firsthand how our smallest daily choices can shape our health more than any prescription ever could. I'm talking about the food we eat, how we store it, and which brands we decide to trust. Here's the hard truth. Most commercial ice creams on the market today are designed for profit, not for people. They often use cheap fats, staggering amounts of sugar, and a cocktail of chemical stabilizers to fake that creamy texture and extend shelf life. For a younger person, this might just lead to a temporary stomachache. But for seniors who are managing conditions like heart disease, kidney issues, or diabetes, these additives can quietly push the body toward danger. They can raise blood pressure, cause a sharp spike in blood glucose, or trigger inflammation throughout the body. But there is so much hope in awareness. Once you know what's really hiding in that seemingly innocent scoop, you regain control over your health. You'll start reading the labels more carefully. You'll begin looking for short, simple ingredient lists filled with words you actually recognize, like milk, cream, and sugar, instead of a long list of chemicals. You'll start paying attention to the sodium content, the sugar levels, and serving sizes that actually make sense for your body. And when you do that, you might just find that dessert can still be a wonderful part of your life, only now, it's on your terms. Whether you choose a brand like Talenti Gelato for its more natural balance or something like So Delicious for its dairy-free comfort, you can absolutely enjoy something sweet without worrying about what it's doing to your heart or your blood sugar. So, the next time you find yourself in the freezer aisle, just take one small pause. Ask yourself, is this choice comforting me, or is it costing me my health? Your well-being is worth that extra moment of thought. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe for more trusted, science-based health tips. And please, share it with a friend or a loved one who deserves to stay safe while still enjoying life as simple pleasures. Because taking care of your health doesn't mean giving up the joy of living. It just means choosing wisely, one delicious scoop at a time. Thank you for watching.